In our last video, we were in the beautiful city of Sanford, Florida. We checked out this beautiful historic theater, strolled the streets of the historic downtown, learned about a little bit of the city's history, and enjoyed the waterfront views. In this video,
we're in DeLand, Florida.
For context, we visited DeLand in mid-January of 2026. DeLand is part of the Orlando metro area.
Today we're in DeLand, Florida, which is about 45 minutes from Orlando and about 35 minutes from Daytona Beach. We haven't been to this city specifically, so we're really excited to check out their historic downtown. We start at the Athens Theater, which opened January 6, 1922. It closed in the 80s, but was restored and reopened in 2009. It hosts plays, concerts, and educational events, and we actually attended something while we were here.
Here's just a few shots of the inside so you can see what it looks like. It was a Fleetwood Mac tribute band, in case you're curious.
So we're now heading up Indiana Avenue, where we have county administration buildings on the left and the Volusia County Courthouse, which opened in 1929, here on the right.
Yeah, this was a really cool old courthouse.
So DeLand was settled in 1846 and incorporated in 1882. The current population is about 37,000. The city is named for Henry DeLand, the founding father, who was apparently a baking soda magnate from New York.
So, DeLand of baking soda and hats. The hat part we'll get to shortly. And at this point, we're still on Indiana Street, just on the opposite side. As we approach the courthouse again, check out this cool seating area that they have on the left-hand side. They call this the Courthouse Plaza, and pro tip if you visit, there's public restrooms off to the left.
Yeah, I love it when a town provides public restrooms. Very helpful.
And now we're on Woodland Boulevard, which we would consider to be the main street cutting through the heart of the downtown. And here we're checking out a parallel street to Indiana so we can see the opposite side of the courthouse.
So originally this area was only accessible by steamboat up the St. Johns River, but somehow Henry DeLand got all his friends from upstate New York to share his dream of creating a citrus, agricultural, and tourism center and relocate to this new city. This building with the mural was constructed in 1887 as a dry goods store and now serves as the Museum of Art, DeLand Downtown.
And I'm sure you've noticed there's quite a bit of street art. If you enjoy that like we do, there is a dedicated section at the end of the video.
So unfortunately for Henry DeLand, a freeze in 1885 destroyed the orange crop. So he decided to go back up north and entrust the academy he had created, DeLand Academy, to his friend John Stetson. We'll talk more about that in a bit. This Methodist church was built in 1920. This hotel was built in the 1920s and then restored and reopened in 2013. This brick building was built as a Masonic lodge with the lodge on the upper floor and businesses on the first floor.
And as you can see, at this point we decided to turn around and head back to the core of the downtown and check out some of the parallel and side streets on the right-hand side of the road. On the day we visited, the downtown was preparing for a microbrew festival, which is exactly the kind of thing we love, and unfortunately we had already purchased tickets to the said Fleetwood Mac tribute band we saw at the theater later that day. Which, no regrets, that was cool. We long ago learned to film the downtowns from both sides of the street because it's such a different perspective. Notice the circle in the center of the street. What a very cool touch.
And up ahead is the county clerk of the circuit court. This is where we turned around and headed back to the main road. The DeLand Opera House was built in 1910, but its use declined when the Athens Theater opened in 1921. Currently, it has businesses on the first floor and apartments on the second floor.
So after a thorough exploration of the downtown, we wanted to check out the local university, also located on this street.
So John Stetson, the hat manufacturer, renamed DeLand Academy Stetson University back in 1889. It is the oldest private college in Florida. This is Elizabeth Hall, named after Stetson's wife. It was built in 1892, and it was the first building on campus to have electricity. DeLand Hall, built in 1884, was the first building on campus and is the oldest building in continuous use in higher education in Florida.
And now the hat reference from earlier has been explained. Although our channel doesn't focus on colleges, this is actually located on the main street that intersects downtown, so it just seemed wrong to not feature a little bit of it in this video.
This is Flagler Hall, which was built in 1902 and named for Henry Flagler, who paid for it.
And you may remember that name from our St. Augustine video, as there's also a Flagler College.
The DeLand House, built in 1886, now serves as a museum. Our final stop was Northwest Square, which is in the former United Methodist Church, built in 1926. It has a bar, food hall, shopping, and special event center.
With that said, it's time to wrap this video up. We'll give you our final thoughts, and then we'll conclude it with our street art section we referenced earlier. All right, DeLand, Florida. What were your impressions? What surprised you? And
Favorite thing.
what was your favorite thing?
Okay, well, probably my favorite thing and what surprised me is there is a campus basically right in downtown, right part of the historic. It's Stetson University, and this is what surprised me is that it is the family that invented the Stetson hat, and on their campus, their original building is the oldest continuously used building in higher education in the state of Florida. My overall impression is DeLand is great. It's got a really cool downtown, an old theater, lots of shops and restaurants, pretty vibrant. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, this is a beautiful little town. I couldn't agree more as far as the most surprising thing. Who knew the hat guy had his own university?
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful campus. It really is. So I loved it. It's on the main street. This channel is not a college channel, but I mean, like Tallahassee, the college is part of the downtown, so there's no way to ignore it. And the downtown itself, I thought, was fabulous. And that cool theater, I'm excited because we're going to go see something in that later on today. So this is a huge thumbs up for me.
Agreed.
All right, get off the couch and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.